All right, thank you everybody seriously for engaging that. Senator McMorrow, thank you, of course, for being you and being an example. I also say we got some more Michigan legislators came in. I see our Senate Majority Leader, Winnie Brinks, is here. We haven't had a Senate Majority Leader that was a Democrat in 40 years. First woman to ever hold that position in the history of the state of Michigan. It's amazing. And West Michigan is very well represented because now I have the privilege of being able to introduce to you our newest Democratic Congresswoman in Michigan, and that is Hillary Scholten. Now, she is a history maker in her own regard, but I want to give you a little anecdote that I think indicates the kind of public servant Hillary Scholten is. So she came into Congress in this most recent election, hit the ground running, serving on committees, small business and transportation. And I'm working on a thing, for those who don't know, I have a background in technology. I'm a software, I kept saying I'm an engineer, I'm a software engineer to be specific. And so I'm trying to work with a bunch of stakeholders across Michigan to really align a vision around economic development from a technology and entrepreneurship perspective. And so we've been holding summits across different regions in the state of Michigan. And I got a text message at like 7:30 a.m. from Congresswoman Scholten on Friday, saying that some things had changed up on her schedule in Washington, and she just wanted to know if she could crash the tech summit. Newsflash: when you're in Congress, you don't crash things because no one says no to a congressperson they want to be invited to things. But the reason she wanted to come is because not only she was eager to contribute to the conversation, her and her staff, but also she wanted to make sure that the work happening in her part of Michigan was well supported. And that they knew that everyone at every level of public service was going to be working with them to not only take advantage of this like particular federal opportunity that we're pursuing, but more importantly, to grow our economy, to grow that opportunity so that everyone has a place in it. And that she's going to fight for that locally and nationally. And that's all we want of our representatives in Congress. So I am so proud that we have as part of our delegation, the Congresswoman from Michigan's 3rd District, that is Hillary Scholten.
Thank you so much for that warm introduction. Yes, we had votes canceled and ended up being back in the district unexpectedly. And I was like, okay, what do we got? We didn't get in until like 3 o'clock in the morning, but I was like, where can we be? What can we do? How can we serve the people better? Good afternoon. It is so wonderful to be here with you. Thanks so much, Lieutenant Governor, for that great introduction. Thanks to the New Deal Summit for having us here today. I feel like these are my people. This is where it is happening. We are the new deal makers in our government, making government work for the people and for our country. We really are at a crossroads right now in our country, and making sure that we have leaders who are prepared to take us into the 21st century is what it's all about. And summits like these are where we break through. So it's an incredible honor to be here with you today. We are hard at work in the United States Congress to capitalize on the successes of the Democratic House majority from the last term and President Biden. Implementing these gains is priority number one. When I came to Congress, I knew that my campaigning was going to continue just a little bit longer as we worked to get on my top committee choices. Many of you know you don't just sort of raise your hand and decide which committee you want to be on. You really have to advocate. And I knew that in order to serve Michigan well, we needed strong representation on the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee and the Small Business Committee. Transportation and Infrastructure is one of the most competitive committees in the United States Congress right now. And everyone said, you're never going to get on that as a freshman. And I said, hold my two-hearted. Don't underestimate women from Michigan. We know how to get the job done. I'm honored to have been selected as one of only 5 new members on the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, where we are implementing those critical dollars, rebuilding roads and bridges. When I came to Congress, I knew how important it would be to lead from the middle. middle of the aisle, and the middle of the country. It has been a top priority of mine to focus on bipartisan solutions. I've already introduced 3 bipartisan bills addressing critical workforce issues. These are bills that could have been designed as messaging bills, but instead I chose to work across the aisle, find partners who I could work with and get these bills introduced to build the 21st century workforce that we need. It's more than any other freshman, and it's what I'm committed to every single day. Also, leading from the middle of the country. I was chosen by my peers to be one of our 4 representatives to senior leadership, a representative from our freshman class. Currently in the United States Congress, we have huge overrepresentation in our senior leadership, both on committees and in our Democratic caucus, from the coasts and from deep blue states, but not enough representation from the middle of the country, the heartland, and from people who come from districts like mine, where you have to learn to talk to people who disagree with you. So I'm honored to have been selected to serve not only as a member of my freshman leadership team, but to hold leadership positions in both of my caucuses. I am so fired up to continue doing my part, to continue the momentum that we have. There is so much happening in Congress right now, and I want to give you just a little bit of a federal update of some of the things that we're working on. One of the most important things that we've been talking about is making our federal dollars work. The American Rescue Plan has delivered state and local relief funds, as we know, to help our counties and cities keep our neighbors in their homes, ensure our children continue learning in schools and that the teachers have the resources they need to teach them. Made sure to ensure that our essential public services could continue to operate. Meanwhile, the bipartisan infrastructure law, which I'm helping to implement, bringing dollars to fix our roads, support our airport, including our wonderful expanding Gerald R. Ford International Airport on the west side of the state. We're seeing an influx of funds that are directly responding to the top needs in our community. Already, over $3 billion in federal money has been allocated to Michigan to help fix our roads, bridges, and highways. $136 million has come to Michigan airports to upgrade and expand terminals and keep Michigan connected to the world and the world connected to Michigan. Tax credits for heat pumps in the Inflation Reduction Act will help consumers save thousands of dollars a year in energy costs. And Michigan is receiving historic levels of federal funding. To keep those dollars coming, we need ongoing support from our local and state lawmakers, which is why I'm here today. You're on the ground every day hearing about these issues that matter to our neighbors, learning the information you need to make these compelling asks. I need you to keep in contact with me and our Michigan delegation so that we can be the best partners for you possible. I'm here today with my wonderful district director, Anissa Eddy, who oversees our operations here on the west side of the state. And if there's ever anything that me or my office can do for you, please don't hesitate to reach out. On the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, I'm so proud to serve on the subcommittees on aviation, water, and as the vice-ranking member on the United States Coast Guard, where not only do we deal with critical national security issues, but protect the critical economic driving force that is Great Lakes shipping. On the Small Business Committee, I'm the ranking member on government contracts and infrastructure. I just came from a tour of the Selfridge Air Base, where we're learning about where investments in this air base will continue to grow our critical government contracting sector. I'm looking to diversify those contracts and make sure our small businesses, especially women and minority-owned businesses, have a fighting chance to compete for those competitive government contracts. As we emerge from this pandemic, it's more important to me than ever to keep our small businesses thriving. Last week was National Small Business Week, and I toured around the district to so many diverse businesses that make up the fabric of West Michigan small businesses. Small businesses are overrepresented in Michigan. Over 85% of our businesses here are considered small. In Grand Rapids, we know what it's like to start small in your garage and grow from there. Who will be our next entrepreneurs, movers, and shakers? It's those individuals that I look forward to connecting with and championing. There's a lot of news coming out of Washington right now, and I know the conversations surrounding the debt limit are top of mind for everyone. Here's where we are in those discussions. Democrats, including myself, are at the table every single day, having conversations about where we go on this debt ceiling. Unfortunately, the proposal that we have in hand from Republicans is not serious, but it has catastrophically serious consequences for the American people, cutting much-needed benefits for our veterans, our children, and the elderly. We need individuals to come to the table. Part of fiscal responsibility, a thriving value in West Michigan, is paying America's bills on time and keeping our excellent credit rating around the world. So we'll continue to negotiate on future budget talks that will make us more fiscally responsible, but we need to make sure that we adhere to the fiscal responsibility that we have by paying our bills on time, and that continues to be our united message as Democrats. I'm part of the Bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus, and we are actively engaged in these negotiations as well. You know, it's hard to overstate when you come to Congress and you want to work so badly on bipartisan talks and you watch your Republican colleagues cheering at the sound of taking away health care from veterans. You know, that is the state of things right now. So we'll continue to come to the table, but part of being a problem-solving, solution-oriented lawmaker is also knowing where not to compromise. I'm also so proud to be a leader in the New Democratic Coalition, one of my favorite caucuses in Congress. There I am vice chairing our Workforce Development Task Force, where we're focused on making sure that we can address issues of drastic understaffing across the board. We know that transportation is a key barrier. Smart immigration reform, which I'll talk about in just a minute, is also a key component. And making sure that individuals have access to affordable health care is also a top concern. You know, I mentioned immigration reform. We voted last week again on the Republicans' non-serious proposal on immigration reform. West Michiganders in particular, but across our state, have been asking, really begging us for years to come up with a solution to the nagging immigration crisis. Immigrants contribute so much to our community, socially, culturally, and economically. And the crisis that we have right now needs to be resolved because it is an economic issue, it's a national security issue, and it is a humanitarian issue. I've worked on immigration issues for almost close to 20 years now, and it is so important that we not only keep our country safe, but that we move our country forward to a 21st century immigration system that allows us to compete in an increasingly global marketplace. Here in Michigan, we know that tourism is a driving force in our economy. Whether you're skiing up north, going to Mackinac in the summers, we need a smart and efficient immigration system to get the workers here, the seasonal workers here, that we need. And we can't do that right now. I hear from small business owners all across the state who don't have the workers that they need and are worried they won't be able to open up shop this summer. Additionally, in agriculture, in order for our specialty crops we all love, like apples, cherries, and blueberries, to be harvested and sent to market, we need the individuals here to do that work. I just had an ag roundtable 2 weeks ago with farmers, and they just said, we can't compete in this economy with the workforce that we have right now. There are solutions out there, and we need individuals ready to come to the table. The longer we wait to take decisive action, the more impact we'll continue to see on our economy. The only way for us to move forward on secure and humane immigration reform is bipartisan action. And every day I'm working with my colleagues to get them to come across the aisle and join us in a common sense reform. I want to wrap up because I know that we have so much more to discuss today, a full agenda ahead, and I hope that we can continue to have an energizing discussion about this New Deal in the United States of America. It's going to take each and every one of us at the room to bring our best selves, our indefatigable optimism, and hard work. Summits like these are where we break through. When we all work together, we can make real progress for our state and for generations of Michiganders to come. Thank you so much.